Hello dearies, welcome to the Craft Kitchen and a very happy new year to you all. Like it is my habit and it makes the most sense to me, I wish you everything you wish for and more. So I'm going to start 2025 with a recap of December 24. I hope you all have had a not too stressful time during the holidays, because in my case I get overwhelmed very easy with all the stress that's going on, and you know, everybody is very tense and you want the holidays to be like perfect. No, this isn't possible. So when I'm starting to feel overwhelmed, I never would stop crafting, but I tend to search for some kind of like pre-made projects. And actually, last December, this sounds really weird, in December, there turned up 3 rather large projects I still wanted to make for myself, and some of them I used for making presents, like ink and pages, tag flip out advent calendar, I guess this was the name. I made this 2 times, one for my daughter and one for my mother-in-law. I would have loved for a 3rd one just to make for me, but I didn't have really time, because in addition to this advent calendar project, Ink and Page gave us this 12 days of winter wonder journal kit as a freebie. And when I saw this, I mean, look at these colors. They are just beautiful. Not that kind of cutesy, not too cutesy, but look, this is really cute. I love the pictures. And she gave us, I don't know, a gazillion of ephemera in addition. So I made this 12 days of winter wonder project for myself to turn it into a book of December magic, because in our family we don't do Christmas in the, let's say, modern style, but Yuletide, which is exactly the same, but for 12 days and 3 days earlier. My sister Tasha told me it's quite similar to Kwanzaa. So I didn't want to call this a Christmas journal, but this is our December magic journal, because whatever holidays you have in December, many cultures do have these holidays, and they just call it differently. In the end, it's all the same. It's all about peace and love, and most important, family and friends. So I made this journal for me to fill, but this will be, when it's filled up, a keepsake for my children, especially for my daughter, because there will be loads of photographs of my granddaughter in here. And you know, my son is 15 years old. He is not that much in memory keeping yet. He'll get there when he's, I don't know, 35 or so. So I filled this, I made this book to be filled in the future. So I cut out all the ephemera and placed it in the envelopes that came with the kit, and just put the envelopes in some pockets. And here you can see, this is actually a mistake, because when I put on here 2024, I didn't think about having loads of photographs and Christmas cards and keepsakes from last year's Yuletide. So I will take this off. Maybe I can do this right now. And this will be 2023, of course. Yeah, this is really stuck here because I used glue additionally. So I will have to cover this, and then this will become 2023. when I start filling this. Just look, this is so beautiful. I love it. I even had to put a paper bag to the back because there are many belly bands, and yeah, you never know where you will put your items when you decorate this or when you fill this up. So I just put everything in here in envelopes and the pocket. Here are some journaling cards. I love it very much. Oh, and I also made some hidden paper clips. I really like it. And I didn't use the cover that comes with this journal because I want it to be sturdy enough to last for the next years. So I cut apart a book cover. I cut off the spine, to be exact, and just enlarged the spine with a piece of fabric so that when the photos and everything is in here, it won't be too much of a gator mouth. Yeah, it is already a gator mouth because of the ephemera I'm storing in here, so I know where it is and I don't have to search it. What is here? Ah, yeah, another pocket. So it is already really full, but as you can see, there's a bit more space here. I really love it. And the other project, the third project I was making, was the advent calendar box from Polka Art Studio. I followed her advice to laminate the cards. Really smart, because you will touch them again and again. I wanted to buy a box calendar, a wooden box calendar for my desk, but yeah, I do have a white desk. I do have many white decorations here, and I would have liked to have a more wooden look, but the choices were white or dark brown, bit like mahogany. No. So I used her free printable, again free, to make this box. The printables for the box came with the kit. I used them as templates and made my own box out of cardstock, yes. And here just slide it over. So this will be standing on my desk for the next years, I hope, because I didn't just make this for 2025. The printable is for 2025. But yeah, this will be kind of like an everlasting calendar because I don't have the dates on the back of the cards, just the month. I don't really remember how it was supposed to be. I remember that she made a monthly calendar for the back of the month cards for 2025, of course. I don't remember if there was anything for the back of this. I have no idea. But yeah, like I told you, I didn't want to have this like a 2025 calendar, but as an everlasting calendar. This is so cute. Really like it. This I made when I was cleaning up my craft kitchen after making loads of Christmas, Kwanzaa, Yuletide presents and advent calendars. I had lots of winter Christmas style printables and snippets and leftovers. I decided I want to have a storage just for the December stuff. 2 years ago, Eva from Bohemian Crafting made a similar one, a bit smaller than this. Not only one, but a few for her shop. But yeah, as always, when I finally saw her video presenting these ephemera holders, it was too late. There was no like accordion pouch left in her shop. So let me see if I can get this on camera. So this was a piece of, I guess you can see this here, dark brown faux leather. I was gifted a few years ago and I painted it with acrylic paints and then with matte acrylic varnish. These ribbons, I don't know what they're called, you know, you fold them and you have a neat edge on fabric. I don't know the word for these. Were actually, oh yeah, really bright green, so I dyed them with some oxide inks. Yeah, and because the inside of this was, so here on the inside of the faux leather there was some, I don't know, fluffy lining inside. I have no idea what to call this. I just yeah, kind of like relined it with a piece of cotton fabric. I coffee dyed and just stamped on this, and then I made these accordions like this to, yeah, make it kind of like pretty. I also used really nice washi tape to strengthen the folds of the gussets. And yeah, I didn't glue this on, but I used eyelets because it's fabric and I didn't want this to come off because of tension after, don't know, 1 year of usage. And then I made some pockets for my little bits and bobs to go in there, all with windows. No, most of them with windows. Oh yeah, this has also a window, but this doesn't. So this holds the bigger paper pieces, but because I used the picture of one of the items inside, actually most of this is out of my favorite magazine, Daphne's Diary, and you don't want to go back in there. So I could use the picture of this. I don't know, I have gathered stuff for making Christmassy journals for the last maybe 2 years, 2.5 years. Why won't you just, I know you fit. You don't fit anymore, but why? I have no idea. So I just yeah, covered some envelopes so that everything can go in here. And I know what's inside. Again, using pages of the magazine to cover this, or book pages, or really these are leftovers, cut-offs from the tag flipbook advent calendar thingy. This, for example, I closed with Velcro and also made some gussets in here. So I've tried to use windowed envelopes so I can see what's inside without having to open it. So in here are, yeah, more or less pre-made ephemera pieces. I can use them like they are, like tiny envelopes, tags, whatnot. Here I do have fuzzy cuts, so I can see this from the outside. These are stickers, and for this I actually made a front and a back side. So front and back side pocket. So this is the pocket for the slightly bigger sticker cards, and on the back I made another pocket, so also with an accordion here, so the slightly smaller stickers are in here. Yeah, I really like this. Of course, if I wouldn't like this, I wouldn't have made it. Thanks again, Eva, for the idea, for the great idea. So what else? I made a advent calendar journal, also pre-made printable, and a Kavanza journal for my sister, also printable kit. But like with this or this one, and this is something that's perfectly normal for me, but My husband, for example, pointed this out. Even if I'm using kind of like ready-made crafting kits, I'm always adding my own style to them without thinking of it. And this is something I would like to encourage you to do also, to evolve your own creativity. If you're using these kits, I actually really like to use them now that I have found the gizmos in my printer and can just swoosh them from the left to the right now and then. So my printer will actually work for let's say 2 to 4 hours like I want him to work. So if you're using these pre-made kits, try adding your own style to this and maybe even experiment. Of course, making these projects for itself is really relaxing. So even with these pre-made projects, I think asking yourself, how can I make this my very own, and just try and experiment, is a great way to evolve in your creativity. And yeah, really get brave enough to think outside the box, like with this box. Sorry. Now for the one thing that really needs my attention from now on. Is the winter journal I told you I'm gonna be finishing, hopefully this month. So you've seen me making the topper for this journal, like this. And yeah, I've made this base for the journal. And the one thing I did manage to do before my little accident in November, when I couldn't move anymore, was covering the inside of the folder with really brittle book pages. And I used distress oxides to color them. I'm not really sure if I do like how these came out, so yeah, they are actually a bit light. So you see me making these kind of like litho prints, more or less copying a jelly plate print technique without a jelly plate. And yeah, it really worked. So I'm gonna be using one of these sheets, the one I like less for my winter journal project, to make another experiment, which is I want to have kind of like a frosted look. Where was it? Oh, here. Just like this grasses here on my collaging paper. The easiest way to do this would be using a shopbought product like frosted glass embossing powder, but especially for the embossing powders, I'm not very familiar with embossing, with heat embossing yet. I ordered a big container, and this is actually cheaper than buying the little ones, of clear embossing powder, which is glossy and relatively easy to use. But with the frosted glass embossing powders, you have to practice. Especially you have to practice how many heat you put on them, because I've watched other creators do this, and this is too bad. If you overheat them, they'll become glossy again, and the frosted look is absolutely gone. They are no longer like matte and translucent. So I thought how to achieve the frosted look on paper without using this. And the first thing that came to mind was matte gel. Yep, this one. This matte gel is actually thick enough to build it up a bit. So you can make some texture with it. And of course this dries clear, but some years ago when I was volunteering for the German food banks, the volunteers got, loads of decorative cosmetics for Christmas from a local drugstore chain. I don't use decorative cosmetics. So I do have these eyeshadows. As you can see, I have used them for another project. And yeah, eyeshadows are actually nothing but pressed mica. And I do have white mica here. Too bad this isn't a glimmer eyeshadow, but still I guess the idea I do have with this will work. So I'm going to be mixing the matte gel with the white mica to build up kind of like a frosted surface on my acrylic paint. I'm actually using these jelly prints, these litho prints with acrylic paints, because I want to use them to cover the inside and part of the outside of my winter journal cover. And since I'm using acrylics for the base, for the background, I do need the same background for my experiment. Otherwise it would be only half an experiment, right? So this I'm going to be using for the first experiment. Then I do have, where do I have it? Homemade clear gesso. Homemade clear gesso is, actually school glue with, in my case, calcium carbonate and a bit of water. Bad thing about this is I don't have any binding agent in here, so I do have to stir this up every time I use it. Very, very good. Yeah, the calcium carbonate already settled, although I mixed this about an hour ago. Very good, very, very well, but it's still, kind of like liquidish. So when you make homemade clear gesso, the way I make it, it always will look kind of like a bit milky due to the calcium carbonate, which is what I want for this. But obviously you can't build it up, you can't texture this, but nevertheless I'm going to test it. Maybe I'm going to mix in some of the eyeshadow too. So this is for the second part of my experiment. And then I happen to have white chalk paint. In fact, this chalk paint is nothing but a mixture of wall paint, acrylic paints, and calcium carbonate, chalk. I guess just wall paint would do the trick also. With the acrylic paint inside, the acrylic binder, it will dry a bit faster. And of course there's additional chalk in there. Wall paint actually does have some chalk in the recipes too. So yeah, the only difference is the acrylic binder in this. So I'm going to be using this, but I'm going to water this down because, of course, when I use it like it is just white, right? But I do want to have a translucent, icy, frosted look, so I'm going to water this down. So let's grab our aprons, our gloves, and safety goggles. No, of course no safety goggles. Just kidding. So grab your aprons and, if you like, gloves, and let's experiment. Now for the first part of the experiment, I'm actually starting with the matte gel because I really think this is going to work best. So I'm gonna be taking some of the gel onto my craft mat here. Not that much, because it's just a test. So, and I'm not thinning this, not using any water. I'm going to be leaving this as it is. And then I'm just scraping out a bit of the white eyeshadow here. And what I'm hoping for is that not only the tiniest bit of white will be in the result, but I don't know if you can see this. Let me have to move. So there are pieces that are a tiny bit bigger, and I guess when I'm mixing this they won't dissolve completely, so I will have kind of like, I don't know how to call it, bigger yeah, like snowflakes on the surface in the end. I have no idea. So I'm exactly just using the white mica to color the matte gel, the tiniest bit. So I do have this translucent, yeah, frosted look here. And I'm gonna be using this sponge because of the porous surface. And when you look at frosted areas, they actually look the tiniest bit like this. So I'm using this sponge and just dab a bit on here. And I want to have just, yeah, a thin layer and more of these smaller bubbles. And yeah, of course, matte gel dries clear, so I'm hoping to achieve a, yeah, kind of like white shimmer in there when it's dry. Let me see. Where do I put you? I have to move the glass plate for this because my camera holder is not that professional. So this was my chair, and I want to test now. Where did I put it? Ah, here. My clear gesso. So like I told you, this is school glue and calcium carbonate, the chalk powder, with a bit of water. And in this case I'm not going to use a sponge because it's really liquidish, but where is it? I do have this stencil brush here. It was round at one point, it's very old. It's a stiff brush there, and for this experiment I'm going to be using the dry brush technique. Let me grab a kitchen towel. There, I always do have some pieces of kitchen towel next to me, and I'm just going in with my brush and just leaving a tiny bit here on the bristles. And with this I'm just dabbing. And yeah, I have to make sure before I do this that this is very well stirred, so that the calcium carbonate particles are floating in the liquid all over. You know what? I can actually just use the residue on my spatula, like so. I don't want to have too much on here. And just dabbing. I hope the areas I'm using are dark enough so that you can see what this will look like in the end. And because I know that this is yeah, a bit milky even when it's dry, I don't have to put in the eyeshadow. But now that I look at the result, at the starting result of the matte gel, I don't know if you can see this there, over here, there is a bigger chunk of the eyeshadow as well as here and here, and from here I can see some more of the white particles. Maybe you can see them too, and I really like this look. So this will be more even than this, and what I'm trying now, I'm going to use my clear gesso with the eyeshadow in combination. Just put it, yeah, somewhere here. This is too light down here. I guess somewhere here is good, just to see if I'm going to get the same effect like I do get here. So, and what I can already see, since this is very runny, it's going to flatten out, whereas this here has a texture. The paper I chose, yeah, there you can see it, is not the best example for this, or not the best to use for this, because it has yeah, kind of like a texture from the printing itself. But yay, I like this. I also like this. But let's see what happens if we use some of the eyeshadow, aka pressed mica. So just tiniest bit here on my craft mat. Well stirred, of course. And now I'm scraping off a bit of the white eyeshadow. Not too much, because I don't want this to be opaque or, yeah, bright white. I just want it to be a bit, yeah, whitish. So let's try this. First I'm going to mix it. Oh yeah, and I already can see there are smaller and bigger chunks in there. Really nice. So now this time I'm going in directly with my brush. Just taking a bit on here. And then I'm using this darker part on the painting, on the print, down here. And let's see, maybe, of course, the eyeshadow will thicken the mixture the tiniest bit. Maybe this will be building up as well. Don't know yet. So, but now I want to use the chalk paint. Let's see, I guess this area here is dark enough for this. And with this I'm also just using the dry brush technique. So let me remove this first. So I do have enough space here. Now opened the can, and now I'm going to stir this well. And funny thing is, I don't know if you can see this, but it already has a bit of texture there. The tiniest bit, yeah, sandy. So stirring. So I'm mixing in the chalk again very well. And I'm just putting a bit on my craft mat. Yay, mixed media mess. Love it. And Yeah, because I don't want this to be opaque white. Actually, this is way too much. There you go. I'm spritzing a bit of water here. I don't know, about 30 to 50% of water. So this will be really runny. And I will mix this well. Again, I will have a result, kind of like milk. There. There's still some paint on the back of my palette knife. Wait a second. Let's see. There. Just looks like milk, but there's no texture anymore. So first, I want to take another piece of my kitchen towel. First, I use this as it is. Again, dry brush technique. Oh, this is actually a very wet brush. Dabbing this on here. And I already can see how this is spreading and beginning to flatten out. But yeah, I'm still waiting for the effect to happen. With this, let's see. I'm just going to be adding more chalk, because here we added more eyeshadow where the calcium carbonate, the chalk powder is already in. And here also calcium carbonate, so we would have the same effect. So I'm just using my puddle here, putting in some calcium carbonate just to see what happens. Just taking a bit of calcium carbonate. Put this in there. Again, where's my palette knife? There. Mixing in the calcium carbonate here. And yeah, what happens here is that the calcium carbonate dissolves evenly or mixes evenly with the watery mixture. Whereas the eyeshadow will build some lumps, so yeah, bigger pieces, because, and this is very important, most of the eyeshadows contain some yeah, oily additives for nursing your skin. It's very important, otherwise your skin would dry out in no time. And the oil and water don't mix, obviously. So the eyeshadow won't dissolve completely, not as smooth as the calcium carbonate. So I guess this will look completely different from what we've done with the clear gesso and the eyeshadow. I'm going to let this dry. First I'm going to write down where I put which, so I can show you later on. I'll be back in a sec. Now my experiment is completely dry, I guess. Yeah, well, not the tea bag, but it will. It won't look any different when it's completely dry. And I also made an kind of like example card for you, because I realized this is all very busy here in the background. So I chose a color, yeah, a cool color. I didn't use black for this because, yeah, using the whites on black would be very obvious and very different from this. And my husband also asked me why I've been using my craft mat for my glues. Simplest thing, dearies, I'm right-handed, very much so, and also this. So I'm covering the reflection with my craft mat. Of course, it would have been easier to make this on the glass, but then again, black background, white color, very difficult to see. So I've chosen this blue. So I'm going to compare these one on one, I guess. We've started with matte gel and eyeshadow because I thought this would be the best result. So this is my first attempt using the matte gel and the eyeshadow. Yeah, that's the problem, because the background is very busy. You can't really see what's happening here. So I do have a beautiful texture. Here you can see this much better. And because of the, yeah, I don't know, oily additives in the eyeshadows, there are some chunks, some lumps in there. I really, really like this. Not only in the matte gel, but also in the clear gesso. And yeah, in the chalk paint you can't really see it. So yeah, I've been using a bit more eyeshadow here for this one. Oh yeah, there you can see the texture. Yes, love it. So next we've been using, where is it? Clear gesso. Yeah, not much to see here on the busy background, but I promise you it's there. Here, the homemade clear gesso, just this. It's quite white on this paper, so yeah, I wouldn't choose this option for plain paper. Then we mixed white eyeshadows in the clear gesso again. Not much of a difference with this background, but here you can see the chunks, the white in the gesso. This is from the eyeshadows. Beautiful. Then what did we use next? Chalk paint. Just watered down chalk paint. This is really nice on this paper. It's yeah, just the tiniest bit of white here, just like with the clear gesso, but it has more texture, more, yeah, texture to the touch than this. Then yeah, this is the exact same chalk paint with the exact same amount of water, so the leftover from my mat I've used here, and here, as you can see, this is way brighter here on the card. And also, yeah, there are some, yeah, chunks in there. So because I was using the chalk paint here on this paper with eyeshadow, more defined texture, I tried this on the simple blue background as well, and as you can see, this is bright white, just like white paint, so the water of course disappeared. And this one I wasn't thinking about, but while cleaning up my craft kitchen, while I was waiting for this to dry, I found some plain white tea bags. There's been apple tea in here, so these are the brown spots on here, but there was licorice in there also, and I hate the taste of this. This to me is like the taste of artificial sweetness, and I hate them. So I dumped the tea in a jar for making mixed media textures, and I kept the white, yeah, kind of like white tea bags. And when you glue this on, You also will have kind of like a frosted look, not only on this background, but here as well. The only thing you have to make sure of is when you glue this on, you use a, I've been using matte gel for this, my go-to collage medium. You want to use a stiff brush, a brush with stiff bristles, and just dab on here. Yeah, I don't know if you can see this. No, you can't. Because with the brush, when painting the matte gel on, you will, yeah, kind of like see the brush strokes underneath. So I just dabbed on here, same I did with this. And this looks really nice. But, yeah, I've decided what to use for my journal. It's going to be the matte gel, especially the one from Liquitex. Not only because I have this, but also, let me grab the container. So here it says just matte gel. You can also buy ultra matte gel, I guess is the name, from the same brand. And this is really, really thick. But what you get in here, nothing moves. It's just the paste. Yeah, kind of like standing up in there. What you get in here, some companies already call this ultra gel, this really thick gel. So this is my go-to. I can water it down. It can build up. It can thicken my acrylic paints perfectly. This is very versatile. So yeah, if you want to use a gel medium for this, use a thicker one, not the liquid gel mediums, because with these you will get, yeah, this flat outcome with no texture. But when you use gel medium, really thick gel medium, you will have, oh, this feels so nice. This really feels like the frosted surface of, yeah, maybe the mirror on your car when there's some frost on top. This is so nice. I like it. I really like it. The optics are also very, very nice. So with the white chunks in here, I really like it. And it looks even better here on this background. So dearies, some options for making frosted backgrounds other than using frosted glass embossing powders. I'm going to try these frosted glass embossing powders. Of course I will, because I'm very curious. But this will take me a while. I will need some time for practice. So this is again another episode for Use What You Have and use your imagination, dearies. Like I told you, trying out new things, having ideas and testing them only can evolve your creativity. I really like this. So dearies, thanks for watching. And if you'd like to see more experiments or even the outcome of the winter journal, please subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell so you will get updates on what's happening next. And as always, stay creative and be excellent to each other. Bye!